now we are doing segment bisectors. This is the other half of day 2. Segment bisector, it's a line right or segment that intersects a segment at its midpoint. It's said to bisect. Bisect means cut it in half. It's going to meet at the midpoint in the diagram. So we're going to draw a diagram over here. Here's my segment ABC. In this diagram, I'm going to draw, we're going to call that line L. In this picture, what point do you think is the midpoint? So if you can look at this picture, we're going to say, I add these little signs, B is the midpoint of what? B is the midpoint of segment AC. And line L is a segment bisector. It's the line that's cutting that segment in half. So the line is called the segment bisector because it cuts it in half of segment AC. So line L is a segment bisector of segment AC. So over here we have our segment addition, that AB plus BC should equal AC. And that's what we did earlier, segment addition. Alright, so they're saying, let's say if AB is equal to BC, because we know that if it bisects or if that's the midpoint, those two segments have to be equal, then we can say 2 ABs are equal to AC. Or you could do the other way. 2 BCs, if these are the same, 2 of these equal the whole length. Okay, so just kind of might help with some of our other things. Alright, each of these are kind of individual. They're not all set up the same on this kind. So it says if B is the midpoint of UW. So again, I'm going to draw a picture to help on these. Best I can. B is the midpoint of UW. And UV is 2x plus 15. These are even more so that drawing a picture will help. Because they might give you one, they might give you both. Sometimes you add them, sometimes you set things equal. So a picture is important here. VW is 5x minus 18. So since they told us this word, B is the midpoint, we know midpoint makes these two segments equal to each other. Right? So to solve for x, we're going to find the value of x and UV. We would set those two segments equal. Solve by getting x by itself, so I'm going to move my x's over here because I like positive x's. I'm going to add my 18 to this side. And now I'll divide. Yeah, x equals 11. Find the length of UW. Now if you look back up here, UW is the whole length, but they didn't give us a UW to plug that into. So I'm going to plug it into, say I plug it into UV. So 22 plus 15 is 37. So if we know this is 37 and this is 37, you can just times it by 2 to get the whole length. So UW equals 74. And they don't put inches or meters or centimeters on any of these, so there's not a label we're looking for, we're just trying to figure out the length of something. Alright, this one says RS bisects AB at point P. bisecting AB at point P. Says AB, the whole length of AB is 6x plus 18. It tells us PB from here to here is 4x minus 6. Now in this one, they gave us the whole length and only one of the parts. So if we know these two parts are equal, we can also write in, that means this is 4x minus 6. So, or you can do like they did up here and say 2 times that should equal the whole length. Either way you want to do it. If you want to write out 4x minus 6 plus 4x minus 6 equals 6x plus 18. Or feel free to just write 2 times 4x minus 6 equals 6x plus 18. Again, just showing like from here, you can either do 2 times the short length to equal the whole one, or write them out, just both of them. So we would have 8x minus 12. You'll get your x's on a side by itself, so we'll subtract the x's, whichever direction you want, and then take your numbers the opposite direction. We got x equals 15. This one says, find the value of x and AP. So remember, AP is the same length as PB. So we're going to say AP equals 4 times 5 minus 6. That would be 20. Whoops, I did something wrong. It's supposed to be 15. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So 4 times 15 minus 6. That's a much bigger number, Miss Campbell. So 60 minus 6 is 54. Alright, so again, drawing a picture is important to see how we're going to set up. Are they going to be equal? Do we have to double one of them? So let's look at this next one. This one has x's and y's in the problem, so that means it should be a clue that this is a systems of equation problem. So, I'm going to draw a picture to help us out first. K is the midpoint of J, L. And the value Kj, or Jk, is x plus 5. Kl is y minus 2. And Jl, the whole length, is 7x minus 5. Okay, keyword here is midpoint. So if it's the midpoint, we know these two segments are equal. So one equation you're going to come up with is using the midpoint. We're going to say that Jk should equal Kl. So if I plug those numbers in, that would be x plus 5 equals y minus 2. Okay? The second equation you're going to come up with to set up is your segment addition. So we'll say like Jk plus Kl equals Jl. Okay, so that would be x plus 5 plus y minus 2 equals 7x minus 5. Alright, so I have two that don't look like really normal problems. The goal is, if you want to use substitution, which is the way we typically do, I need to probably pick one letter to get by itself, whether I wanted to do it in this equation or you want to do it in that equation. To me, this one looks a little easier, and you can get y by itself or you can get x by itself. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to get x by itself by subtracting 5 to the other side. If I minus 5 over here, that would give me minus 7. Okay? Now I'm going to take that information and substitute it in on the other side. If you want to simplify this first, like getting maybe the x's and y's on the same side, that would work out. So, or you can just plug it in right where it is. It does not matter. I think I'm going to move my x's to the same side, so at least I only have to substitute it in once. So that would give me 6x over here, and maybe it doesn't matter, but 5 minus 2 is 3. So let's say I make it look like this. Let's say you can subtract 5 and add the 2, or like I said, combine those and make that 3, and then subtract 3 over. So something like that. So that way, when I say I'm going to plug in this x equals, I only have to put it in one place. So 6 times y minus 7, I'm substituting this in. So I got a variable by itself, and then you're going to substitute it into the other problem. Again, you can substitute it in both places here, or you can simplify first, and then substitute it in. Let's say I subtract the 6y over here, that will give me negative 5y. If I combine those two together, that gives me negative 50. So you divide, you get y equals 10. Okay? It says I want to find the value of x and KL. Okay, so I'm going to plug this answer back in to find x. 10 minus 7, so x equals 3. Plug that in for KL. KL says we want to do 10 minus 2, so KL is 8. Alright, so these are how you're going to solve your two problems. One dealing with the midpoint, one dealing with segment addition, and then solve the system. If you want to pause it and try the next one on your own, feel free. Okay, so I'm setting up my equations. I drew my picture. I'm going to do a midpoint equation, and I'm going to do a segment addition equation. The midpoint says that those two segments are equal, and then this one says that if you add these two together, it should equal the whole length. Okay, again, I'm going to guess. I guess I'll use this one again and get x by itself. If I do that, I'll have x equals 4y minus 7, and I want to substitute that in over here. Again, feel free to, sometimes people like to get things on the same side, so like let's say I subtract the x over here, that gives me 5x, and let's say I subtract the 4y over here, and that would give me minus 6y. And that's more like standard form if you want to write something in standard form instead. So when you plug this in over here, they'll be on the same side. That's another option. This I wrote up here was more slope-intercept, but it does not matter. We're just plugging this x value into that problem. I'll distribute. Combine my terms. 20 minus 6 gives me 14y. Running out of room, but you're going to add the 35 to this side. Gives me 42 equals 14y. Divide both sides by 14. And y equals 3. says find the value of x and segment AB. This one was a typo. It shouldn't have this line above it. When we're finding a measurement, they usually, like if you look at the one above it, it doesn't have a line above it. That means you're looking for a measurement. So, find the value of x. X would equal 4 times 3 minus 7. So 4 times 3 is 12, minus 7 is 5. Okay, what else? AB. So AB equals x plus 7, so that would be 12. Okay, and there's all our information on today's lesson with segment bisector, segment addition.